Welcome to Bible Trivia. This time we'll be asking questions about David and Goliath. The first question for 200 points. In which Philistine town did Goliath live? Was it A, Gath, B, Ekron, C, Ashdod, or D, Gaza? The answer is A. Goliath lived in the Philistine town of Gath. The next question for 300 points. How many days did Goliath challenge Israel to send a man to fight him? Was it A, 30 days, B, 20 days, C, 40 days, or D, 50 days? The answer is C. Goliath challenged Israel to send a man to fight him for 40 days. The next question for 3,725 points. Why did the Israelite army fear Goliath so much? Was it A, because he was a giant, B, because he was wealthy, C, because he was too smart, or D, because he had 3 arms? The answer was A. The Israelite army feared Goliath so much because he was a giant. The next question for 80,000 points. What metal was Goliath's armor made from? Was it A, bronze, B, copper, C, gold, or D, silver? The answer is A. Goliath's armor was made from bronze. The next question for 1,000 points. How tall was Goliath? Was he A, about 7 feet tall, B, about 15 feet tall, C, about 10 feet tall, or D, about 25 feet tall? The answer is C. Goliath was about 10 feet tall. The next question for 100 points. Who challenged Goliath to fight? Was it A, Joseph, B, Saul, C, Samuel, or D, David? The answer is D. David challenged Goliath to a fight. The next question for all of the points. How heavy was Goliath's armor plate? Was it A, 100 pounds, B, 500 pounds, C, 350 pounds, or D, 120 pounds? The answer is D. Goliath's armor plate weighed 120 pounds. The next question for no points. How did David defeat Goliath? Was it A, with a stone from his sling, B, with a sword, C, he poisoned him, or D, he led him into a den of lions? The answer is A. David defeated Goliath with a stone from his sling. The next question for 700 points. Where in the Bible do we read about Goliath? Is it A, in 2 Samuel, B, in 1 Samuel, C, in Esther, or D, in 1 Kings? The answer is B. We read about Goliath in 1 Samuel. And now for the last question, worth a bunch of points. How many stones did David use to defeat Goliath? Was it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4? The answer is A. David used 1 stone to defeat Goliath. Thanks for playing Bible Trivia. We hope you'll play again soon. Welcome to Bible Trivia. This time we'll be asking questions about Bible villains. The first question for 1 billion points. This person was the son of Jerobaal. He killed 70 family members. Was it A, Abimelech, B, Jotham, C, Joash, or D, Saul? The answer is A. Abimelech killed 70 family members. That was a tough question. The next question for 300 points. This person was a huge Philistine soldier from Gath. He fought David the shepherd and was killed by him. Was it A, Sidkiah, B, Goliath, C, Saul, or D, Samson? The answer is B. Goliath was a huge Philistine soldier who fought David the shepherd. The next question for 3,722 points. This person was the son of Adam and Eve. He killed his own brother. Was it A, Awan, B, Seth, C, Cain, or D, Abel? The answer is C. Cain was the son of Adam and Eve who killed his brother. The next question for 80,000 points. This person tried to kill young Yeshua and all the boys under 2 years old in Bethlehem. Was it A, David, B, Herod, C, Josiah, or D, Hezekiah? The answer is B. Herod tried to kill young Yeshua and all the boys under 2 years old in Bethlehem. The next question for so many points. This Bible villain was married to Ahab. She was a wicked queen who was thrown out of a window. Was it A, Tabitha, B, Delilah, C, Vashti, or D, Jezebel? The answer is D. Jezebel was married to Ahab. She was a wicked queen who was thrown out a window. The next question for 100 points. This Bible villain refused to free the Hebrews and survived the 10 plagues. Was it A, Pharaoh, B, Samson, C, Solomon, or D, Hezekiah? The answer is A, Pharaoh refused to free the Hebrews and survived the 10 plagues? The next question for all of the points. This Bible villain threw 3 men into a fiery furnace because they would not worship him. Was it A. Solomon, B. Rufus, C. Saul, or D. King Nebuchadnezzar? The answer is D. King Nebuchadnezzar threw 3 men into a fiery furnace because they would not worship him. The next question for no points. This person was a disciple of Jesus who finally betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. Was it A. Judas, B. Peter, C. Bartholomew, or D. Thomas? The answer is A. Judas was a disciple of Jesus who finally betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. The next question for 700 points. This Bible villain led a rebellion against his father, King David. He died after his long hair got caught in a tree. Was it A. Ahab, B. Pilate, C. Nimrod, or D. Absalom? The answer is D. Absalom led a rebellion against his father, King David. He died after his long hair got caught in a tree. And the last question for a bunch of points. This Bible villain was a Philistine woman whom Samson was in love with. She tricked him into revealing the secret of his strength. Was it A. Delilah, B. Elizabeth, C. Salome, or D. Julia? The answer is A. Delilah was a Philistine woman who Samson was in love with. She tricked him into revealing the secret of his strength. Thanks for playing Bible Trivia. We hope you'll play again soon.